this is me, Zi'en. Let me show you what I've discovered. This book, Atomic Habits, is being sold at 54 ringgit 90 cents only. Much more cheaper than other bookstores in Malaysia. And look at all these book vending machines and even stores with such a creative concept. What is the reason behind all these creative tricks that BookXcess is using? And with book prices that are so low, can they even make money? On today's episode of Mind Your Business, we are going to dive into the world of BookXcess. And I've invited the founders, Andrew and Jacqueline. 感谢 Alliance Bank 荣誉呈现本期内容。Alliance Bank 推出了 Digital SME 贷款计划，专为本地中小企业提供线上申请的贷款方案。Alliance Bank, the bank for life. Alright, so good morning to both Andrew and Jacqueline, and welcome to BBK Network's business show. And it's glad because we are having both of you as our first guests on the show.
Hi, I'm Andrew, co-founder of BookXcess and Big Bad Wolf.
Hi, good morning, Zi'en. Hi, my name is Jacqueline. It's such an honor to be your first guest, honestly. So, by the way, we are husband and wife, and we co-founded the business together.
Yeah, I saw that online, and it's so great to see both of you being so nice together as a couple, but at the same time good partners as well. So I believe today we are here to actually dive deep not only into BookXcess and Big Bad Wolf, but also we would like to know more about the book industry from both of you. I think my first question would be, because currently a lot of people actually perceive the book industry in a more negative way, as in we see a lot of bookstores struggling, the amount of bookstores closing down are actually more than bookstores opening. But then BookXcess has a totally different scenario happening here, because I see that you have established more than 20 stores in Malaysia and you are going to open even more stores and you have expansion plans too. So can we actually know a few key reasons that makes you sustain so well in this very challenging industry and period of time?
I think you look at us from a very different perspective. Don't look at us as booksellers, look at us as creative people. We want to go after the 90% of Malaysians who can read but don't have the reading habit or culture in them. So it's us to shift their focus, and we are selling books from a very different lens because we are not from the industry, right? And I never grew up with books. I'm also, to admit, I'm not a real reader, and so I can understand why the majority of Malaysians do not read and have the perception that no one is reading or is declining. So we are really going after that 90% of Malaysians who are not reading to read. And our ideas and how we go about it will be very different from anyone from the industry. So that's what really sets us apart.
Looking into changing the habits of the remaining 90% that are not reading yet, have you actually calculated or managed to see how many non-readers that you have converted into readers?
I think so the business is 19 years already, and from the beginning when we started as a really, really tiny shop, the mission till today is the same, which is to promote readership and to actually increase English literacy. So you know that we are selling English language books, and that propel us for every decision that we make. But when we started being someone that is not in the industry, not even in retail or in the book industry, a lot of things we do is just trial and error. Like we just use our common sense, like how to make it work. So the only way that we thought that it could make things possible is that everybody wants their kids, I mean parents, every parent wants their kids to be better, right? I mean to have better opportunity in life, to have a better future. So, but one of the hindrance is actually the price. It means the affordability of books. So we're thinking if we bring down the price of the book to make it a little bit more affordable and accessible, how would that change the landscape? Right. So what we have in mind is to create a new generation of readers. So although we are still selling adult books, however, we were thinking that since the percentage of adults are not reading, how do we create a new generation of readers? So when we started a bookshop first, and then after that an event, right? So the event allows more people to come. We actually still don't know whether we're doing the right thing. Of course, we do see a huge response, which is surprising. You know, if people are not reading, then how do we keep selling out our books, right? So that is actually very encouraging. But people keep asking us but are you really converting a non-reader to read, or they're just buying books to just display at home, you know? So the whole encouragement or motivation, or rather confirmation, came actually after 5 years. Yeah, so after 5 years of doing the business, in the beginning, the toughest genre to sell is young adult books. Because a parent will buy children books, right? For the kids. An adult will come in and choose whatever they want. But the young adults is quite tough because a parent cannot push them to read or force them to read anymore. So the young adult books selling rate is very slow and very low. But on the 5th year, suddenly our young adult books sold out. So we are talking way back in 2014, 2015. And then I was just telling him, like, why are we keep replenishing, you know, like, what changes did our marketing strategy change? How did we attract the young adults to come to our sale? We were trying to figure it out. Then suddenly it dawned on us that, oh my goodness, 5 years ago, and for BookXcess, it will be like 8 years ago, they grew up. That means the kids that came along, or rather the parents who have bought books for the kids, they are all now young adults. They are grown up and become young adults. And it's true. I mean, basically what we do, we got the acknowledgement that it does generate or just created this new generation of reader, because now they are avid readers on their own. They came to the shop or the event, and they are choosing the young adult books for themselves. So then we realized that, oh my goodness, it does work. And that is actually one of the huge turning point for our business, where we realized that, then now that, we know that what we're doing is correct. So the year following that, we actually start expanding our business beyond Malaysia.
How is like the composition of your selling rate of the books now? Do the young adults category perform as well as the others, or which one is the best selling category?
So far, what is leading the charge now is for sure the young adults. When we were growing up, when you go to a bookstore, you see the particulars bookstores top 10 best-selling list, or they'll try to show you the New York Times best-selling list and all. So what is trending, what's happening around the world. Now, if you go to any bookstore around the world, it's not about the best-selling book in the bookstore or the New York Times best-selling list, but it is what is the best selling on TikTok. And who on TikTok is all the kids, right? So it's really driving the industry now, and the big resurgence is on the young adult books, and you can see how amazing the titles are, the names, and even the spine and all this is so beautifully done, right? The books has evolved a lot. The other big mover is actually we call it BMS, Body, Mind and Spirit. As the whole world become more digital, everyone is looking for an escape. And Body, Mind, Spirit books talk about spirituality. It's not so much on religion and all. It's about how to be calm, how to relax, how to meditate, and how to slow down. Yeah.
I think you mentioned like 2 points or factors that actually drove the business in terms of social media, and also how people are looking for a change in their lifestyle. Other than that, are there any more factors that make you stand out?
The key factor, definitely, especially in a developing country like Malaysia, is affordability and accessibility. We make it affordable so that everyone will be able to afford and also try. And the accessibility part is very important. If you feed your stomach, you have to feed your mind. So if there's 100,000 restaurants in Kuala Lumpur, there should be 100,000 bookstores by right. Yeah, but it's too much to ask.
Yeah.
But if you go to London or you go to New York, every corner is always a bookstore. So we are trying our best to be able to increase our footprint to as many neighborhoods as possible. Then there's a lot of initiatives that we are also doing. We got a fantastic online store. Plus, we also launched BookBot, our book vending machine, a year ago.
Yeah, I would definitely want to dive deep into what you mentioned that makes you different. So in terms of affordability, I think a lot of people can agree that your books are super affordable, because I just tried to compare, for example, like this book, like Atomic Habits, I think it's your bestseller on your website. It's being sold at $54.90. And when I compare with other online bookstores, they sell it around 80 ringgit. So I think the question leads to, what makes your books so affordable? Like, based on my research, I think you actually take in remainder books. So are these books all remainder books, and that's why it is so affordable, or how did you actually achieve this?
So we have evolved a lot over the years. When we first started the business like 16, 17 years ago, we started with remainder books, surplus books or unsold copies. And as we grew, the remainders don't grow, right? So anyway, we need more books. We started partnering with publishers in order to be able to bring to have a print run just for us. So we have already moved out of the just being selling remainders. I think now almost half of our inventory is actually direct from the publishers. The key important thing is how are we able to drive the price down is also because of us and the mission. We want to change the world through books, and profit of course is important, but selling more number of books comes first, and we'll see the profit coming later. So by going on a volume game to talk to publishers, we are able to get the books at a much lower price. And the difference between us and bookstores around the world or in Malaysia is that we own the books. We take the daring step to be able to buy millions of books, and it's not returnable. So we are looking at book selling at a very different angle.
I see. So I think, at first a lot of people were understanding the business as in you were focusing on remainder books. That it's glad to know that now we have like a lot more inventory with new books.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see Harry Potter, and these are all very
new. And
books,
they look like so fancy as well, following the current trend and what it needs. So I think since you are able to actually persuade a lot of your publishers with your vision on how you really want to educate, that's why they are providing you with like a great price to buy in those books. So how about your own profitability? Like what you mentioned, although profitability comes next, but then how is it like profiting for your company when you are selling books at such an affordable price comparing to other bookstores?
So it's not easy for sure, and we cannot do it alone. That is why the media, like you guys, our customers, the publishers, partners that we have, we even have banks partnering with us, sponsoring us, developers, mall owners coming together to help us do this. So everybody doing their part, but we will be the conduit to bring everyone together to achieve what you're trying to do. So to have a bookstore like BookXcess or a big event like BBK Wolf, we need everyone coming together, to everyone chip in, to be able to achieve this, to bring our costs lower, or they contribute in different manners.
Yeah. So I guess when we first look at us as creative people, it's not so much about creative as in we are very artistic, in that way, but we have to create solutions. So this is a road less traveled, book industry, like you said, people think it's a sunset industry, right? The demand is so small. So it's always a demand and supply in a normal business sense. But for us, we are actually creating the demand. We create the market. And when you need to create a market, all the solution, all the ideas that came up with is how do you do that? How do you actually convert a non-reader to a reader, right? So we do things that is different, right? And sometimes we try, like whether it works, it doesn't work. So having the best product, it's not just about the price, but the best product. So from day one, we took a lot of effort doing purchasing, right? Till today, we still, Andrew personally will still lead the purchasing team, or sometimes I lead the purchasing team. Of course, now we have a team. Last time, it's just two of us, right? Doing everything ourselves. At the same time, pricing-wise, we will price it the lowest we could. Right, but at the same time, we are a commercial company. We are not, we are not an NGO. We don't survive on this. We're not a charity, right? We are a commercial company. So the part where we have to take a step back to look at this book, we can sell at 30, example. Let's say outside is selling at 60. We can sell up to 30, but I could actually sell at 20. From the cost that we can secure it for. So we will still choose to sell at 20. You get what I mean? So that is in us from day one. That is our DNA, because we want to make you able to purchase more than one. That means besides buying one copy for yourself, we need you to consider buying for someone else. So that price point is that magic that we needed to have, that you will be part of our mission to change the world, right? Because it cannot be just a company alone.
The next thing that you have mentioned is actually accessibility. We look at it in two aspects. The first one is your stores. It's very nice to see that all your stores have totally different concepts, because personally I visited to a few, like the one at Rex KL. It looks like very vintage. I think it's like an old cinema, and the one at Ipoh is like a jail, the old jail.
It's an old
concept. Yeah, the old bank. Sorry,
it's
the
a
old
bank.
bank. Yeah, so there are a lot of different concepts in there, and every time when you are selecting a new location, do you have any like ideas in it? Because some people, they might think that it's better to standardize my company's how people view my company.
So the idea always falls back to the 95% of the Malaysians who can read but they're not reading, and we want to present them with books. We want to introduce books to their lives, and to most of them, they never had the chance to. All these Instagrammable stores is all for that market of non-readers. When we create experiences like that, they come and take pictures, they hang out, they're not readers. But because of our unique selling point, where we got great books at great prices, a book will always call out to them. What is amazing is that the people that come to our store, they all have different tastes, and there's always a book for someone. So a book will call out to them, and they look at the price, it's affordable, right? And then they buy, and hopefully we convert them into readers. So that is one of the goals why our stores don't have a standard corporate identity, and it's also to get the book lovers to visit different stores. So the more they go to visit different stores which look differently, they will end up buying more also. And the other reason also is, as I mentioned, we cannot do this alone. We need to partner up with developers or the mall owners, and they don't want the same old thing. You can see a lot of malls are like cookie cutter concept, right? You know exactly, you go to ground floor, who you're going to see. Whereas when it comes to the BookXcess, it's going to be different. So every mall, our stores will look differently, and that is what the developers want from us.
I realized that all your bookstores are so big. They have like a relatively big space comparing to other bookstores. So it jumps back to reality on whether currently all your bookstores, the sales that you are achieving, do you manage to cover the full rental, or you are still trying to actually hit a very healthy profit amount?
It's tough, right? It's never easy. I mean, retail in Malaysia is a bit soft.
做生意的人都会遇到这道选择题：究竟是要用投资人的钱来扩张，还是用自己的方式把公司做大？那投资人的钱，当然公司的成长能够快一些，发展能够快一点。但是，其实每一次的融资都是在一点一点的分走你的公司，到最后你还剩下多少决策权呢？当然，融资不是坏事，但如果你在意的是主导权，想公司由你自己来主导，那其实还有另外一种选择的，那就是 Alliance Bank 的 Digital SME 贷款。没错，只需要提交半年的银行来往账户账单即可申请，没有任何隐藏费用，没有手续费，没有锁定期，不需要抵押品，180%线上办理，足不出户即可完成。今天申请，今天批准，贷款金额最高可达50万令吉，利率低至5.98%，还款期最长可达7年，要提早还清贷款，当然也可以。无论你是新创企业还是较为成熟的公司 ，Alliance Bank 都可以提供符合你需求的贷款方案，省时间省麻烦，让你更快拿到资金，专注于把生意做大。公司的未来由你决定。现在输入我们的优惠码 BBK03来申请，即可获得50令吉的 Touch and Go e-wallet， 需符合条规。
Alliance Bank, the bank for life.
The sales that you are achieving, do you manage to cover the full rental, or you are still trying to actually hit a very healthy profit amount?
It's tough, right? It's never easy. I mean, retail in Malaysia is a little bit soft currently, also, and post-pandemic, everything has changed. But we managed to balance out everything. We have a good team that is able to analyze all the data we have, and we keep on evolving, try to introduce activities. We also have a good marketing team, so we launch books there. We even have weddings in the bookstore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We really have a few weddings already in our bookstore in the gardens. Yeah, and one very interesting way to convince people to have a wedding there. So of course, you need to start with definitely the bride, because any wedding, the bride will always try to control
it makes sense.
everything, right? And the bride being a book lover, they always some of them have ideas of having a different venue. And when we open up our venues, to anyone who wants to do something interesting, right? We throw in things like, okay, if you're going to have your wedding at a bookstore, every guest can choose one book for free. And it's on us. So can you imagine, whenever we go to a wedding, right? If we take home the door gift, we just chuck it aside. Sometimes we even throw it away, right? But can you imagine a door gift, a book as a door gift?
Which is our gift to
which
them.
our gift to them, and it's also our wedding gift to the couple. And imagine the lives you're changing. 200-300 lives at the same time. You give something so meaningful versus just a normal door gift.
So actually the whole fundamental difference, it generated from day one, it came out from a very pure heart, right? And luckily, the two of us are both very giving people. We feel that it is a blessing, to be able to bless people, to give people. So we're not very calculative in that sense, you get me, no? And we are not very shrewd business people, by the way, So it come from a very different place, that we are able to manage it. The only burden that we carry is that while doing this, having lower margin, being very giving, we cannot bankrupt the company at the same time because the whole world till today, after doing the business for 19 years, we are still the only one doing. There's no one, there's no one else, right? So if one day we are too tired, or if one day we make a really big mistake and not viable anymore, there's actually no one else. So it becomes a very conscious burden that we carry. In the beginning, when the business is smaller, we don't feel so
pressured.
Yeah, pressured, correct. But now it's like the business is so much bigger. It involves such a bigger team, involve many countries that we have teams there as well. So we really need to be a little bit more savvy. But of course, along the years, we have really good relationships with all our suppliers. We have a very steady source of our books at also very good prices. So that actually pivoted us to be able to expand.
Another part of accessibility is like what you mentioned, the book board. I think it's something relatively new to the business as well. And I think I'm very curious because for vending machine, a lot of us buy it for convenience. Like I just want to pass by and grab something. So in terms of book, sometimes I might wonder, a lot of people might take a lot of time to consider what book that they want. But with limited amount of choices in the vending machine, what actually drives them to purchase? On your perspective, what was the concept behind this?
Definitely for vending machines, you have to have the best. So you can have 100 books and you just put your top 100 books there. The great thing is a book will always call out to a person, and the different times of our lives, we will need a certain type of book. So putting the correct book is very important with the correct title. We make sure that as how we merchandise the vending machine, someone walking into the machine, that the book has to call out to them from far already, right? So the right cover is very important, the right copywriting for the machine. But it's also where you put the vending machine is very important. Airports is one of our best ROI for
Subang
machine.
Airport one.
Because imagine how many travelers, especially male travelers, right? When they're going home after a business trip, forget to buy something. For the kids, especially for the kids. It'd be great that the dad comes home, after a few days and then brings something back for the kids. Instead of buying chocolates and all, books they find definitely more meaningful, right? And so it's just so diverse, the customers that will come and buy for us. And then of course, going on a plane, you want to keep the kids occupied instead of making noise and all, right? So again, a book and then for the trip.
That's very smart because at first I was wondering who even visits Subang Airport, as in we don't really go there. So I was very curious on who would buy books from there. And how about your other vending machines? What are the logic behind how you actually place them, for example, in other places?
It's still definitely an experiment because it's something so new. If you put a coffee machine, it works everywhere, right? So books, you just really have to try. Number 2 is actually hospitals. Where's the best time where you have to read? I mean, sadly, when you're not well, right? You want to keep away from work. You want to relax and all. So a lot of people, when they are visiting friends or family in the hospital, they will pick up a book instead of going to the gift shop again and buy flowers. Everybody has bought flowers for the person. The whole room is full of flowers. But can you imagine if you had a book and the person can heal? You know, books not only uplift, not only motivate, but books also heal. We're also trying out colleges. Colleges also work well with the right books.
Basically, it's for places where we don't have a bookshop. So naturally, if there's a bookshop, as a customer, you will choose to go to a bookshop because there's so much more choices, right? And you can browse and all. But for certain, not all locations can accommodate a bookshop.
The next question that leads me is about Big Bad Wolf, because I think you actually founded Big Bad Wolf after BookXcess for quite some time, and I checked your schedule, it's super packed. Like, you are located in different places from Sarawak to even overseas. So I'm very curious, is this like event something that is one of your biggest profit driver, or how is it like running Big Bad Wolf now?
Definitely is our biggest contributor in terms of revenue, because BookXcess is only in Malaysia. And our online store, yes, we sell internationally, but predominantly in Malaysia. Big Bad Wolf is in 17 different countries and 50 overseas cities around the world. Again,
Back to the mission, it's very hard to get a non-reader to walk into a bookstore, right? I mean, there's no intention, right? And especially in the early days where we can't afford to build that kind of huge and very beautiful bookstores. In the early days, we have a very humble model store in Angkor Mall, one location. So the only natural way is to create an event, because when you create an event, it's short term, right? It's for a week or 2 weeks, and you don't come to an event alone. You bring people to the event to accompany you. So the person that you bring, whether it's a family member or a friend, they are the one that we want to convert, right? Because since 90% of people are not reading, likelihood is your friend is also not a reader as well. So that is through that idea or intention, we started an event to kind of like leapfrog us in terms of increase in readership. And like I mentioned to you, after 5 years of knowing that it works, right, we are able to go overseas. You see, committing to a bookstore is a whole different commitment compared to committing to an event. Right. And I mean, it's a huge blessing that people resonate towards the brand Big Bad Wolf.
Me too. I went to Big Bad Wolf when I was so young. When I was still a kid. So I actually kind of, previously, nothing of this makes sense to me because it just feels like the generation are no longer book lovers. But then when it comes to your perspective, I definitely see where you're coming from, because all these events, what people see is just, you are just burning money, selling books at such a low price. The next question is our last view also, because currently, I believe a lot of our current generations, they are so addicted to technology and also digital devices. This also means that their media consumption time is higher. So, how do you view this? Like, it might possibly reduce their reading habits and reduce their motivation and drive to visit a bookstore or even pick up a book. So, are there any initiatives that you are taking to try to change this scenario?
I think we let the market demand manage all this. When I say that, I'm not saying it as a very negative way, what I'm going to say. It might sound bad, but the more people get addicted to their phones or digital devices, the better for us. Because to be honest, we are going crazy. When we first had our smartphone, to us we thought like, oh my god, this is like amazing. We can watch video, can do emails, can do everything. You don't need anything else, right? Can read and all. But it's now consumed our life so much that it's become like a curse to that. The phone, right? Everybody wants to get away from the phone. The phone is so stressful. The moment you hear ting, right, you get anxiety. Can you imagine? It's supposed to bring you joy. It's supposed to make your life better. But now it's killing us. It's really killing everyone. The more it gets into our lives, currently even our cars are connected to our phone. They need an escape. And where do they go? A lot of people are going back to books, to reading, to getting away, anything to get away from the device. Traveling also is one thing, right? Going for walks. A lot of people are now going outdoors more. When we were growing up, our parents will always tell us, don't go out, just stay at home, right? Now, parents are wanting their kids to get out of the house. They're just stuck in the
on
room.
their phone.
Yeah. So the market forces are there, the demand is there, and we are ready to cater to everyone.
I see. So, like in contrast, although a lot of people might be not having a reading habit, but in your way, you actually see your demand growing because everyone is seeking for an alternative solution when it comes to being so digitalized. Okay.
I think the negative, I just want to add on that, is that, I mean, the positive thing about social media is also the trending things, right? Now people are, they're talking about things now, right, in their own personal way, whether it's on whatever social media channels. A lot of people are talking, right, giving their views, so a lot of people are talking about books as well. There's a lot of KOLs that are just talking plainly about books that they read. So that actually gave a lot of awareness compared to 20 years ago, right? So now, even when you're on your phone, you are being introduced to a lot of new things, including books, right? And books is now being viewed as trendy and cool, It's not nerdy. Like 20 years ago, you think that you are nerdy if you read, no? Now you look at all the cool people reading and talking about and sharing. So you also feel that, hey, it's actually cool to read. So the positive effect is also social media also bring up or bring out, the awareness of books and reading. And, nowadays a lot of books, or rather a lot of movies are based on books.
Okay.
So when people talk about movies as well, on social media, they also link back to this is based on this book and this is based on the other book.
I think my last question that I want to cover is, as we all know, since a lot of people might have already captivated their interest after looking into, so many content online, but then another very, very easy solution for them is just to purchase a digital book, or just read through digital devices like Kindle and a lot. Or maybe they will find it like a cheaper solution as well. So how do you view this new market and also this scenario?
Again, back to the demand. So it's not more of how do we view, but how the market forces are there. When digitalization started coming to our lives about 15, 20 years ago, there was a big research that was done. And they said that after 20 years, that means which is like now, the split between reading from a digital device will be 80% and 20% physical. It's been 20 years after the anniversary of the survey. It's exactly the opposite.
Yeah, okay.
People, 80% are reading physical and 20% online or ebooks. And what's the main reason? Is because it's almost impossible to read from a digital device. The moment you hold the digital device, you cannot concentrate at all. If you're trying to teach a child to read from a digital device, it's almost impossible because the kid wants to just play games. Yes, Kindle is, you don't get messages from Kindle, but you're still holding the device. The moment you hold the device, right, your brain waves already change.
It resonates you with entertainment and something that actually releases dopamine, so that's why they couldn't focus.
And also, I think we have been using digital device for so many years. People are seeing the effects, or rather the negative effects of it. It's very different. I mean, we all read digital device, right? Also, right? And we also read physical book. And you realize that when you read through on a device, you are skimming. You skim.
Yeah.
Because that is how our brain, because when we read emails, we read WhatsApp, when we read, when we browse, especially when we browse social media, you are not reading, right? You are skimming. Your attention span is a few seconds, right? But when you hold a book, it's very different. Your intention, your mind is already tuned, is tuned that you want to read, right? You are not skimming, you read every word.
Do you foresee, from a business point of view, I think you're always considering on what are the obstacles that might be coming through the way. Are there any further challenges that you think you might need to encounter? And what are the plans for the company now?
I think we are at a very exciting moment of the company where the whole world has now realized that books are very important. It's trending. A lot of people want an escape. They want to read. There's not enough bookstores. And the future is so bright for us because the last 15, 20 years, everybody ran away from the industry. The second generation don't want to take over. Especially when booksellers or publishers, the kids want to do other businesses, they want to be professionals. The last thing they want to do is go in the supposedly sunset industry. They thought it's all gloom and doom when digitalization was coming in the last 15-20 years, right? So there are really no experts in the industry in terms of learning, knowing how to buy and sell books. And we started 15-20 years ago, so the timing is very right for us at the moment.
Just nice.
Yeah, we are just now catching on the wave. The whole world is so hungry for books. We just finished an event in Saudi Arabia, and we did very well there also. Definitely, we are building Southeast Asia's largest bookstore. To me, it's going to be the best bookstore in the world. As we keep building, we keep innovating, and every bookstore or every venture we do have to do better than the previous ones, right? We are proud to announce that in December, we will launch Southeast Asia's largest bookstore. It's going to be open 24 hours at Sunway Square. Yeah.
Okay, so like I can't wait to see so many midnight readers having their peaceful time there to operate like in an... I think you are definitely changing so many traditional rules of bookstores. Usually they were just in shopping malls, opening until 10 and that's it. And now you have so many new ideas coming up. So I think we are definitely looking forward to see your interesting projects and also how the book market changes as well. Do you have any add-ons for our audiences before we officially end?
Yeah, I guess for all your audience who know us and have been supporting us for the past 19 years or at least the more recent years, we would really want to express our gratitude. This is a homegrown Malaysian brand, right? And nobody believed, like when we started as a 500 square feet shop 19 years ago, that we will be who we are today. We are but for those who didn't know, through their support, we would like to tell them that we have grown tremendously. A lot of people didn't know that we are the biggest bookseller, right? We have sold more than 100 million books already. Wow. Yeah, we bring books to places where the kids have no accessibility to books at all. You know, there's no bookshop per se. Right, and if without this price point, also it's totally inaccessible to a lot of people. A lot of people in the more who are living in a less fortunate environment as well. We have received so many testimonies from a lot of people, including Malaysia and outside of Malaysia, about the impact that they have benefited over the years for themselves, for their children. They express their appreciation, they express their gratitude. They even told us that, oh, you know, Jacqueline, we will always pray for Big Bad Wolf because if you go down, then we don't know what will happen to us. And also, we are a business that is very blessed with customers loving us and supporting us through the years. So we'd like to take the opportunity to say a big thank you and hope that they are also proud of us. You know, the cities that we go, they never imagine, you know, we are in Africa, you know, we are now in Middle East, you know, we are in Cambodia, even the outside the neighboring countries, we are expanding outwards as well. So I hope that the customer that has been supporting us, they are really proud that this small little Malaysian company based in Shah Alam now is doing what the best we could, you know, to have a positive impact in the world.
Yeah, I think like a lot. At least every person, like my family, bought so many books from the Big Bad Wolf book sales and also BookXcess. So I think a lot of people have been seeing how this company has been growing, and we also can't wait to see how far this homegrown brand in the book industry can go. So once again, thank you so much, Andrew and Jacqueline, for today. Thank you so much for all the sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
再次感谢 Alliance Bank。Alliance Bank 推出的 Digital SME 贷款计划。只需要提交半年的银行来往账户账单即可以申请，记得点击链接了解更多详情。Alliance Bank, the bank for life。我是子恩，本期节目就到这里，我们下期再见，拜拜。